All right, welcome back, everybody. We are now diving into our 8th project of the Arduino Starter or Project Kit. This one is a tilt, right? So digital hourglass, right? You tilt it, you stand it up, twirl it over. Only here we're obviously using digital pins or digital LEDs. This is the smallest amount of time, and it goes up. And essentially, when your top LED here lights up, I guess time's up, and we'll reset that. Now, one of the things I do want to point out here, this tilt sensor, little sketchy on getting actually imprinted on the board. So I'm gonna show you the functionality here in just a moment. I'll get some power coming into the board so you can see the LEDs light up, and we'll just take a look so we see the functionality from that perspective. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and just address the circuit itself, right? So the first thing that we'll notice is we have a whole lot of pins going into input of our tilt sensor, or I'm sorry, the first top one, pin 8, is the digital read of our tilt sensor. And you can see here we have a resistor, and that just simply protects our board coming into the ground. And you can see this small yellow wire here that's feeding the 5-volt into our tilt sensor, right? So again, we got the 5-volt coming in, goes directly into our tilt sensor. Tilt sensor determines, whatever angle it's at, and then it writes that information out to a digital pin here, in this case, pin 8. We have a resistor here just to protect our circuit. Next, you'll notice, I'm gonna actually start down here at pin 2. You'll notice that pin 2 goes directly into the positive of our bottom LED, and the negative coming out of our LED goes directly to ground through this resistor. Again, just protects our circuit. Now, even though I'm using different colors here, these 3 gray and then followed by these 3 red, that's just because I'm trying to use the wires that are in the kit that have the minimum amount of length that I can use, just simply because, I don't want this kind of thing all over the place. It makes it difficult to see the circuit. And so even though my coloration on the wires is different, it's the same functionality that we see in the booklet. And again, every single one of these wires comes into the positive of the LED, and every single one of these resistors comes out to the ground to protect our circuit. No different. Again, it's just a red line, but it comes into the positive of our LED, and the LED comes out to the resistor here that goes to ground. This one's a little bit difficult to see just because of the crossover. But if we look at pin 7 coming out to the positive of our top LED, and the ground comes out, hits our resistor, and then comes into this outer track to complete the circuit. So really all that this is, even though it might look a little bit complex, it's just because there's a lot of LEDs, but it's the exact same thing. Pins 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 go to the positives of the LEDs, and then the resistors bring the negative out into our ground to complete the circuit. Here, again, positive comes into our tilt sensor, and then it comes out to the board here through the resistor to complete the circuit, and here on channel 8 to provide the sensor tilt value. Now, the one thing I do want to point out really quick, in order for this demo to make sense and work within a reasonable period of time, you'll notice that in the code, the value, I think it's 600,000, which is turning one of these on every 10 minutes. For this demo, I've shrunk that down to 600. So it's going to be just under a second, or just over half a second, as each one of these turn on, and then I'll tilt the board to get the tilt to recognize it, and it will reset the pin, right? They'll just keep kind of going up and up. But you'll see it at the 600, the value of 600 as opposed to the 600,000. Now, the one thing, this tilt sensor, for whatever reason, is it just does not stick to this board. I was going to put some tape on it and everything else, and it didn't. It just, then all of a sudden, it just looked really bad. So I've got these kind of black gloves on that you'll see in a moment, and I'm just trying to keep them on so you get a little bit of contrast with this white background. So hopefully my hands don't get in the way too terribly much. And again, so you'll kind of see the gloves here in just a minute. But I'm wearing them in the hopes that they kind of give you a better visual of this. So let me go ahead and turn on the power. Okay, the power's turned on to this now, and the LEDs just light up immediately, just simply because they're, I told you I turned that number from 60 or 600,000 to 600, so these lit up very quickly. What I have to do is I have to depress the actual pin here. I have to press this down into the board, and then I'll tilt it, and you'll see everything kind of going through here. And so you can kind of see that the tilt sensor, every time I tilt it, right? So I don't know if the black gloves were helping any or not, but regardless, you get the idea, right? I just have to hold this thing in here constantly. Okay? So as soon as I let it go, it's probably going to just reset. And you see without the tilting, lights just kind of stay on. So anyways, little sketchy on that tilt sensor that's provided with the kit, but you get the idea. And so that completes our conversation and demos of Project 8. And we will see you in the next video where we start to look at the code for Project 9. Take care, everybody.